Hey good looking, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be featuring for you my classic quintessential Christmas look. So today we'll be featuring some get ready with me style makeup, and without any further ado, let's get started. I've grabbed some makeup up for us to use. I don't know, I'm not used to doing like a full face of get ready with me style makeup online. But today I am featuring the Merit Lafayette Edition set here. And this actually in French stands for festival or party, which is perfect for today's look because I'm going to my son's Christmas party today. So I'm excited to be able to use some of this makeup for that. And I went ahead and grabbed out my other Merit products too. We'll use those and put together a nice, minimal but very classy Christmas look. Starting off with the oil, I've got one right here. This is kind of like a nice priming serum oil. It's called the Great Skin Instant Glow Serum. It's kind of like a priming oil. It's a skincare. I'm also going to show you guys how I'm going to incorporate it into my makeup routine so that it doesn't look so crepey because I am super dry this time of year. But I am going to go ahead and start with just a little bit on my hands and really focus it in on pressing it into the skin. I've already done my other skincare. I have oily skin and I cannot imagine if I had dry skin in this time of year because it is completely difficult to work with dry skin. Makeup does not go on dry skin like it goes on oily skin. Adding some of my Seraphine Botanicals. It's a nice lip oil. It's got like a nice little roller ball here, and I shook it up and then I'm pressing it all over my lips and just letting that sink in. Now we've got the skin prepped and primed. I am going to prep and prime my eyes right now with just some Lorac eye primer. Add that to my eyelids. I'm doing actually a more simple eye because the lip is where I'm going to feature the most color. And I think that's going to be kind of the showstopper for us. So, which is not normally what I typically do. I don't let the lip do the speaking. I have smaller lips. They're thinner, nothing like something that I would be like potentially in love with. But okay, next up, it's also featured in the Lafayette edition is the brow gel, and it comes in brown. So I've been using this brow gel for a while in addition to my Rowan eye pencil, and I do like it. I have, naturally fairly thick, full brows, so this works great for me. But if you have more sparse brows, you would probably want to pair this with an eyebrow pencil because it doesn't actually carry a lot of pigment to it. And it is very soft. It doesn't really hold the brow in place all day. So just to let you know that as well. Next up, I want to add a nice like glittery eye, and I'm not sure if I want to take the Astral Solstice or do I want to take JD Glow's Unexpected. So here's Unexpected. This is one of my BYOP shades. I think it's a little bit more blue. It's not quite as wet. And then here's Astral Solstice from the Midnight Sun palette. Actually, I think for this look, I will go ahead and go with the more wet looking, so the Astral Solstice. For this, I think I featured it in one of my other videos, but I generally like to take and just spray a little bit of face mist. I've got some Morphe setting spray here from my kit. I also like to use MAC's Prep and Prime. And then for this, I'm just tapping in with my finger and placing this all over the lid. I don't know if this is going to be too much, and I kind of have a feeling it might be. Okay. When I add some bronzer, I'm going to go ahead and bronze into it. I also have the Merit mascara, and it seems like a more minimalist type. I mean, this whole aesthetic of this company is minimalist makeup, so it's called Perfect Black. I do have just the mini form of it, which I absolutely love, because I generally, after about a month or two, the formula seems to kind of start to dry out, and I like a more wet looking mascara. Curling the lashes, giving it that nice curl. I'm not planning on wearing any lashes today, so I want the fullest potential from my mascara that I can get. The wand looks very simple, nothing, you know, hourglass shaped, and it's not the silicone wand or anything. It's just the classic applicator wand that you think of. The formula seems really on the thicker side. I will say that it's not as wet. I'm going to come down first, and then I'm going to come up with and just placing it in. You probably can't see, but placing it in there and wiggling it around and then twirling the wand up is how I like to coat my lashes. This wet looking lid seems to really be kind of almost washing my eyes out. So we might have to add some bronzer and maybe even some liner. Really quite nice. I do have 2 shades of foundation from Merit. I've been using the L'Oreal True Match Nude Serum Foundation, but I kind of want to take a break from that and see if maybe I can get some better coverage, and maybe this will be better at, you know, dealing with, I've got a lot of dryness around my mouth right now. So I've got the shade Dune and Bisque. And here is Bisque. Oops. Okay. And then Dune. Dune is, I think, more color or cooler in tone. And Bisque is more neutral, and it's also just a smidge darker. I'm going to go ahead and mix the two. So I'm going to keep Bisque more towards the cheek portion and outer perimeter. And then maybe also in here. And then with Bisque, or Dune, excuse me, this was Bisque, this is Dune. I'm going to go ahead and add more to the center of the face. And then kind of underneath the cheekbone. And then I have done this as concealer before, and it actually works quite nice. Just gonna add a little more coverage up in here. We will add some bronzer just because I think with the eyes, we're gonna need some dimension. Makeup Geek Foundation stippling brush. I'm starting on the center of the face and really buffing in the foundation. I'm gonna take a little bit of setting spray. I do feel quite a bit of resistance, so while this sits, I'm gonna go ahead and spray a little bit of setting spray to give me a bit of wetness, a little bit more glide. Just in general, it does help your foundation more evenly cover. Yeah, we've definitely got some dark patches up here. I don't like using it in the summer because it slips around a little too much on my oily skin. But I was really eager to try it out here in the winter months. It's looking really good in this area right here. It's just a little bit patchy right here because of my dry patches. So it's just clinging just a little bit, you know. I could have stood to do just like a little bit of color correction. Yeah, I think definitely that was a really good idea to kind of take and spray a couple of spritzes of this on there just so that it helps to spread the foundation out thinner so you can get some coverage while still getting like a homogeneous application. Okay, I feel like it's evened out my skin tone, maybe just a little bit too light. I could have went just a little bit heavier with the darker shade, and I think that would have been Dune. Yeah, I believe it was Dune. But we will bronze up the skin and get some dimension back into the face. All right. I do want to use some cream products because my skin is so dry. I've noticed a lot of like patching, and then also I tend to like, I guess maybe buff so much in that it lifts up some product right there. Angled contour brush, dipping into my soul body. I'm starting here and then just working my way up and adding just a little bit of bronze. It's really more for like facial structure. This actually added a good amount of coverage. I would say light to medium for sure. Probably could build up into the light full coverage. I say that loosely because anytime you're putting a cream product on your face, it's really easy to get, you know, carried away. Just kind of blend into that crease with my brush to get a little bit of dimension up here. I have a square face, so adding some dimension right in here and then just kind of bringing it up this way helps to kind of bring a little bit more diamond into the mix. You can kind of see the diamond sculpting that I'm doing. Makes it a little bit more, I don't want to say I'm changing my shape of my face because I like having a square face. It's not that I don't, but I do enjoy a little bit of sculpting, if you will. And then right in here, you can kind of cut down on that harsh jawline by just adding a little bit. Just right underneath and right behind that jawline right there. So next up, the Merit bronzer in Beverly Hills. Let me go ahead and give you a swatch. These are not very pigmented, so they're really great for beginners, and they're also just really good light washes of color. Makeup Geek highlighter, cheek and highlighter brush, and staying up high and kind of bringing it in here to the apples of my cheeks because, again, like I said, we're not doing too much color. So it's kind of nice to be able to, you know, start up high a little bit and then just bring it down ever so slightly. I think I might bring just up and around ever so slightly. On camera, I am a bit washed out, but I can assure you in real life, I've got some blush on my skin and it's looking really nice. I kind of like it. This might have to be a new fave for kind of the winter time. My L'Oreal True Match serum has just been, it's been very light and it clings to patches and it does a really good job, but I think I need more coverage with the dry spots. All right, one last thing from the Lafayette edition, the party edition. I have the Merit bronzer, Merit highlighter in the shade Bounce. It's kind of a creamy pink champagne, and it's super light and just kind of iridescent, but it actually packs quite a bit of a punch. So I'm not using too terribly much of it because, again, like I said, I did put that Astral Solstice, which might have been just a little bit farther from what I wanted. But let's go ahead and get some lips on. I'm feeling nice and put together. I do think we need to also add some liner because I'm feeling a little bit too washed out up in here. I'm used to a little bit more structure. So let's go ahead and get some eyeliner on and then we'll do some lips. I'm going to use my LYS bronzer just to buff and blend in a little bit of bronzer for some structure onto the crease. Trying to minimize my exposure to the Astral shade just because it is a bit of a bigger micro fleck. So you kind of risk that flaking and getting off of the skin just a little bit. I'm going to pounce in the rest of that, I think it was bisque shade here, and then kind of marry it in with the Bounce cream highlighter. It's looking really nice, really dewy and super glowy. Definitely the effect I'm going for. I will say the sponge is taking away a little bit of my coverage, which is fine underneath here. I don't really particularly need a whole lot of coverage, so I'm okay with that. But I'm just letting you know that it tends to kind of pick up on a sponge, so I would use a brush for a more medium coverage. I found this little Laura Mercier translucent powder, but it's the Secret Brightening Under Eye Powder. I'm going to use some of that underneath my eyes. And just gently set those under eyes. Yeah, making sure that there's no like clinging, sticking, or clumps of any sort. Just kind of gently. This Secret Under Eye. I've been meaning to buy the pressed powder form of this because I do like the loose powder, but I think I would like the pressed powder a little bit better. And it was in TJ Maxx, so I was kind of hoping to score it there versus having to pay full price for it, but I think that's not going to be the case because that has came and went. All right. Yeah, we're just a little bit patchy right here, a little cakey. So probably just need to buff in just a little bit better. And also I've got some dry patches here. It's kind of clinging to it. Very indicative of how a cream product would perform underneath the eye. Definitely what I would expect for sure. Okay. I am going to go ahead and powder now that I've kind of blended that out, and powder all across my nose and around it. And then going back in with the Merit oil, just adding like ever so slightly, like maybe a half a drop to my hand right there. Blend this out into my hand, and then with my sponge, pick up some of that oil and then press it just very gently underneath the eye and over the nose. And I'm not sure if you can see it on camera. Very good. I'll go ahead and show you there. And then over here, it's just a little bit more, it brings it back to like a natural dewy finish. And it's almost like it melts the translucent powder, so you don't have that powdery look underneath your eyes. I don't have dry skin whatsoever, and I have oily skin, and I would definitely recommend this step, especially in the winter time. So if you pick up this serum, they do have a full bottle of it on the website, which I'll have it linked for you guys down below if you want to pick some of it up. But I like it. It's a general purpose oil. It's a really good general purpose oil. So if you have normal dry skin, I have oily skin and I'm using it. So I think, you know, it would work for a plethora of skin types. But that's how I've been using the oil, because I do have a lot of hydration from my vitamin C and my sunscreen. And so this kind of goes underneath it. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, did this remove my translucent powder? But no, actually it just blends it in. And then it kind of helps, because I've got some fine lines here. It kind of really helps those as well. And it almost like blurs them together in a way. But it really just kind of pushes everything down. All right, so looking really nice. Let's go ahead and put on some eyeliner though. I want a smoky lash. All right, I think for this particular one, I'm gonna go ahead and dip into my Born This Way Natural Nudes palette. So right there. Grab my Makeup Geek brush. And then use the end that's for the liner. Just grab some on my brush, tap off any excess, and I'm just gonna add like a nice liner. Like just gentle, I guess. And then I'll probably smoke it out with one of the other colors. So I'm using Truffle. So any dark brown. I think in Sydney Grace, Lords a Leaping, Chocolate Raspberry Fudge would be a really good one. This color reminds me of Chocolate Raspberry Fudge so much. All right, let's see if we can get the other side to match. But I'm liking this a lot. It's adding that dimension that I was kind of looking for, so. Oh no, they don't match. You know what? That's just gonna have to be the way it is. Grabbing just a little bit of extra, I'm pushing it down. Yeah, you can see it's like not even. I think though, when we blend it out with our like bronzer shade, it should be okay. MAC 217, let's go old school. Let's old school it up. Should I do like a really dark shadow like cocoa, or should I do more like a nude? Let's do a darker cocoa. Dip into that and then stay really close to the lash line and just kind of buff and blend it out. And then when I get up here, I'm just going to kind of gently put that like suggestion of an, you know, contour there, I guess. Yeah, it definitely looks better if it's a little bit smoky. Hopefully this is the right brush. I'm kind of feeling like it is. Oh, I'm so glad that I decided to smoke this out. I was like 2 seconds away from being like, nope, we've done enough. But I'm glad that I didn't, because I'm definitely not liking the stark liner that's kind of transpired in this look. I still want it classic. I still want it elegant, you know. And I don't want to have to add too much else to the look. Wonderful. Just want to blend this just a little bit more. There, that really, like, honestly, it added a little too much. I am going to go in with the nude shade now and then add a little bit of that underneath the under eye. I don't really want it too, like, smoky underneath. Just want to add, like, a little bit of balance. I feel very fierce. I do feel like the mascara is a bit too minimalist for this particular look, but nonetheless, I mean, it's not out of place. I just would do more. At this point, I would probably, if this is the mascara that I had chose to bring with me, I would probably add lashes, you know? And then you can see here, I'm fluffing up the brows again because they've kind of gotten, you know, worked down with all the brushes and everything. Lastly, lining my lips with Pat McGrath Labs Permagel Ultra Lip Pencil in Bloodlust. This is the only thing I have left is the lipstick. And it is in the shade Aperitif, which is a word, it's an alcoholic drink that you consume before the meal to, like, develop the appetite or to increase the appetite. It's a really beautiful red shade. It is kind of like a brick cinnamon red. However, on my skin tone, I'm going to go ahead and put it right here. I think it's too orange. It's too warm. So to kind of balance that out, I'm going to use Bloodlust and see if that kind of pulls it to neutrality, maybe? I'm not sure. We'll see. I think I've only used this lip liner once. And then I'm going to try to give myself the best advantage of a nice, soft, sultry party lip. Yeah, this is more cool toned. Yeah, definitely. And then rather than line my natural contour, I'm kind of cutting in. To give it more of that pouty illusion. And if I would, you know, have a black eyeliner or even a dark brown, I would probably go ahead and contour in the corners and then down in here as well. Just because reds can really go, you know, one way or the other. I'm hoping this isn't too opaque. All right, let's add the Aperitif shade. This is a more balmy, so it doesn't have a great amount of pigment, which is what I'm relying on for this particular shade because it's quite warm. Oh, it's pretty, Actually, I think that lip liner kind of brought it back to neutrality, and I think that the lip overall looks really good. All right, and there you have it. A nice festive Christmas look. I think it's very classy. Definitely very party appropriate. I actually am very surprised. Out of all of the lipsticks I've ever tried, this would never have been one that I would have thought to try because it's very warm toned, and I generally don't look good in a warm toned red lip, but I'm pretty impressed. The under eyes, I've tried this. I've been using this for I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 makeup applications, and definitely will continue to use this for my under eyes with this sponge to get it to look very nice. So thank you so much for joining me, guys. If you're finding value in this content, as always, please subscribe down below and like this on your way out. Can't wait to see you guys in my next video. Bye.